The ecosystem of entrepreneurship is often presented as a domain of opportunity and innovation, yet its accessibility remains unequally distributed. Women, youth, and marginalized entrepreneurs encounter an intricate web of barriers that stymie their participation in business creation and growth. This narrative seeks to academically delineate the major categories of hindrances faced by these groups, emphasizing the multi-layered nature of exclusivity within entrepreneurial ecosystems. The first and most prominent barrier is financial. Access to capital and credit services is systematically restricted, commonly because banks and lending institutions require collateral, which many from disadvantaged backgrounds do not possess. In addition, financial discrimination based on gender, age, caste, or minority status is perpetuated through implicit biases across regions. The absence of financial literacy further compounds the challenge, as entrepreneurs struggle to navigate funding channels, understand interest rates, and manage cash flows efficiently. Social and cultural ideations operate as deep-seated impediments. Gender stereotypes mark entrepreneurship as a male prerogative, relegating women to familial or domestic roles. Youth, too, grapple with age-based biases, often dismissed as lacking requisite experience or business acumen. For those from marginalized castes, tribes, or minority communities, societal stigma impairs network building, limits partnership opportunities, and reduces market access, reinforcing the cycle of exclusion. Academic and skill-related gaps create further asymmetry. The provision of entrepreneurial education remains inadequate, with rudimentary exposure to business planning, digital proficiency, or innovative methodologies. The absence of robust mentoring ecosystems and relatable role models restricts aspirational growth, while the digital and language divide curtails the ability of marginalized groups to engage with contemporary business resources and international markets. Market access and networking barriers represent another layer of disadvantage. Integration into mainstream supply chains is fraught with difficulty, with privileged networks establishing gatekeeping mechanisms. Industrial exposure is often lacking, as participation in trade fairs and associations is limited by both social capital and geographical location. Entrepreneurs from rural or remote regions face infrastructural inadequacies, further distancing them from the centers of commerce. Legal and policy frameworks, though designed in principle to be inclusive, often become exclusionary in practice. Complex regulatory requirements, such as licensing, compliance, and taxation, are overwhelming for first-time entrepreneurs, especially when compounded by a lack of awareness concerning available government schemes and subsidies. Institutional support is often nominal, with poor implementation of entrepreneurship development programs and limited outreach to vulnerable populations. Technological barriers reflect the digital divide at its starkest. Access to computers, the internet, and basic technological infrastructure is frequently limited, and high costs associated with advanced tools such as AI, automation, or digital marketing render these solutions unattainable for many early-stage entrepreneurs. Psychological and personal obstacles are embedded within the social conditioning of disadvantaged groups. The fear of failure, magnified by social pressure and a culture of risk aversion, serves as a significant deterrent. Low confidence, shaped by repeated experiences of marginalization and lack of familial support, especially for women, further reduce entrepreneurial intent and perseverance. Finally, infrastructure deficits compound the problem. Poor transport and unreliable logistics disadvantage rural and semi-urban entrepreneurs, while gaps in electricity, land acquisition, and viable workspaces choke the prospects for production-based startups. The scarcity of dedicated incubators for inclusive entrepreneurship means that systemic disadvantages remain unaddressed. To summarize, the barriers faced by women, youth, and marginalized entrepreneurs are neither singular nor superficial. They cross financial, cultural, educational, network-based, legal, technological, psychological, and infrastructural domains. An absence of targeted intervention risks perpetuating these exclusions, thereby limiting the scope for innovation, livelihood creation, and the attainment of equitable economic growth. Policy designers, educators, and ecosystem builders must recognize and address these multifaceted barriers to foster truly inclusive entrepreneurship.